The tools, products, and techniques in this video are intended for use by adult modelers. Anyone under the age of 13 should always have adult supervision when using said tools, products, and techniques.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Hey everybody, welcome to an all-new build series here at Payne-ted Plastic. For this one we're going to do something a little bit different than normal. Typically I'll build a Gundam kit, or I'll modify a toy or something like that. For this build, it's going to be basically from scratch a 3D printed Han Solo blaster, right? The DL-44. This is a file that I got online. I'll leave the information in the description. Basically downloaded off Thingiverse. A brilliant modeler made this file. I did not create this file. And yeah, we're gonna get it all printed out and cleaned up and painted, and hopefully we'll have a really cool looking DL-44 at the end of it. I've got a few other pieces just to hand over here. This is the grip, right, like that. They'll all get put together eventually. The first thing I want to do is just kind of go around and clean them up a little bit. Just incidentally, these were printed on an Anycubic Photon Mono X in gray resin, obviously. And yeah, the prints are spectacular. I hope you can make out the detail in some of that stuff. Just really clean prints, but there are some leftover, just little artifacts. So we're going to go around and kind of sand those down. To do that, I've just got a couple of sanding sticks, right? I also have some little bits of sandpaper. I've got a larger sheet that I just tear little bits off of. I think this is 120. Yeah, 120 grit sandpaper. And then I'll just go over it with my sticks, because these are a little finer, a little finer grit. So yeah, first place I want to start is here on the grip. You can see along the underside, there's just a few little spots and things that are sort of visible. So we'll just take our sandpaper and like I said, these prints are really clean, so it's not going to take much work just to sort of tighten them up a little. Alright, so for this piece we're going to have to do a little extra work. Those familiar with Han's blaster know that this is the fire suppressor right at the end, and this is going to be all sort of a chrome looking metal. I've got some imperfections here on the muzzle. You can see right here, just little marks. I suspect it's where supports have come off. I'm still kind of new to the 3D printing game, so I'm still learning different settings and techniques, and yeah. So to take care of those, I've just got some, Tamiya putty. This is what I would normally use on Gunpla to like fill seams, or there's a number of uses for it. But for this, we're just going to spread a little bit on the these little marks because I want this piece to be as smooth as possible. So I'm just going to get a little bit on my finger and right in the seam, or right in the little imperfection there, right? And I'm not worried about, you know, how thick it is, or if I'm getting it, you know, somewhere it doesn't need to be, because all this is going to get sanded back, and right, we'll take care of all of that later. Alrighty, there we go, guys. Got all the little marks filled in. There are actually more than I realized. There's one I missed. Yep, got them all filled in. I'm just going around now and sort of making sure all the holes are clear. We're going to sand down, you know, all the putty and everything, but clearing out those holes would be challenging. But yep, so I'm going to set this to the side and let it dry, and I'm going to carry on sanding down the other bits. I may go wash my finger. But yeah, I've got a few other things to sand down. There's the bolt and the other handle, and I've got all the bits over here in a tray. But I'm going to go off and do this off camera. Basically just like this, you know, sand down any rough spots, and then I'll go back, you know, once I've hit it with the heavy grit, I'll go back with my sticks, right? And this will take out any of the scuff marks and scratches, and basically just get it ready for some paint. So, or really some primer. We're going to prime all this stuff before we paint it. Yep, so I'm going to go off and just finish these up off camera. When we come back, we'll be over at the paint booth, right? We'll get some primer on all these guys and start getting the painting process done. But yep, be right back. Alright, so I know I said we were going to be over at the paint booth, right, priming all the parts and everything, but a little bit of a detour. It occurred to me that we can make some sub-assemblies, right? This is the scope, right? And this was actually 5 different parts that I printed, and, you know, I got them all put together off camera. But yeah, there's a few of these that we can do. So we're going to do those first, and then priming and painting will be a little bit easier. So the first one I want to do is on the stock itself, right? It comes with this grill plate that goes across the front, and I think that can just be in place, right, to paint. That doesn't need to be separated to paint. So that's what we're going to do. There's a couple of I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a couple little posts, and yeah, to fix it in place, I'm just going to use some super glue, regular old super glue, maybe if I have any left. Just going to put a couple of blobs right on those posts. And there we go. Let that dry and it'll be on there forever. Another one that we can do. Do I want to do that one or not? I don't know if I want to do that one. There's a little plate. It's actually the magazine clip. I think I might leave that. I don't know. Let's attach it. What the heck. Again, just a little super glue. I think I want a little bit across these rails. All right. All right, there we go. Let's see, I think that's about all I want to do on the handle. I don't want to attach the grips because you know, they're not gonna be black. They're gonna get a different paint job. So we'll leave that till the end. Felt like I had a little super glue seeping out. Another one we can do is this part. This is actually what the scope mounts to, right? After we get everything painted, which, we might even be able to attach that now that I'm looking at it. I can't see any reason why we couldn't paint all that as one unit. Anyway, the one I did want to do was the screws that are on the outside. They actually come in a couple of different pieces. There's a post, and then there's a spacer that goes on the back, and then that screw caps on just like that, right? And then that will attach to the main body. I think we'll attach all of these screws and spacers on, and then we might even attach that. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't see any reason why we couldn't paint everything as a unit. Yeah, maybe we'll do that too. But anyway, let's get all this stuff tacked on first. All right, there we go. Got that one done. Do I want to attach that? You know what? I think I do want to attach that. There's also a part that goes here, which is this little guy. It will sit like that, but that's going to be a gold color, so I'm going to leave that off. There are also some caps for the end, but again, they're going to be a different color, so we're not going to add those, but I think we will add this. I can't think of any reason why we wouldn't be able to paint that like it is. So there we go. And oh, it goes that way. Okay, make sure I glue this thing on properly. There we go. Oops, got a little blob on this end. I'm gonna wipe that away before it dries. There we go. And that bit is ready for paint, I think. That might be it for gluing bits together. I think everything else will have to be painted as we go. So now we'll head over to the paint booth. All right, let's get some primer sprayed. As usual, I'll be using my Stynylrez gray primer, and I'm going to be blowing that through my Iwata Neo airbrush. I've got my pressure at about 25, 26, something like that. It's a little higher than normal because the primer is a little bit thicker than regular paint. But yeah, starting with the grip here, as you can see, I just do a really light coat all over. Just get a little primer on the surface, and then I'll start going back with some, thicker, heavier coats to finish it off. You see the tape there on the back, that's to leave a bare spot for glue later in the build. You'll see that on a couple of pieces. So yeah, that's pretty much how I lay down a coat of primer. Let's speed this up a little bit and get these things primed. go. Finishing up here on the stock, and yeah, let's head back over to the bench. Alrighty, here we go, everybody. Got everything all primed up, ready for some paint. There's a couple of spots on here that I may go back and touch again, just because I'm not really happy with how they look so far. But everything else is pretty good. You'll notice I did connect the bolt to the stock. It occurred to me while I was spraying that this thing slides on, and if I slid it on after it was painted, then all of this might be exposed. So yeah, went ahead and did that. So far so good. I'm gonna leave this episode here. We've got parts cleaned up, we've got parts primed and ready to go. On the next episode, we'll start getting some paint on these guys. Gonna save all that for episode 2. So, as always, thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you're enjoying the build so far, and stay tuned for episode 2. Bye-bye.